Rece Davis, one of the co-hosts of ABC's draft coverage this year. Rece, thanks for joining us. And this year is a year like none other, obviously. What can we expect from ABC's coverage for 3 nights of the NFL draft?
Well, first of all, it's going to look different. There's no way around that. It'd be disingenuous to say otherwise. It's not going to look the way it did when we did it for the first time on ABC last year in Nashville, where there were, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people lining the street, and it was a sea of humanity for as far as you could see. There was a certain vibe and excitement that comes with being in front of a live audience like that it won't look the same. But substantively, in terms of telling the stories, which is our objective on ABC's coverage, in addition to doing all the things that sports fans are used to seeing on draft coverage, team needs, how a guy fits, salary cap, that will be touched on. But our primary objective is to let people know, who is this guy that you just got for your favorite team? Why is he going to be successful? All of us know these guys from our years of covering college sports. Our college game day guys are the ones who will be at the center of ABC's draft coverage. So this is an opportunity. It's more from a storytelling perspective. You get a lot of the background on the players, which is very much what we did last year. Just the setting will be a little different. Rather than the sea of humanity going down Broad Street in Nashville, or in this case, it was to have been in Las Vegas, it'll be more of a, you may not be old enough to remember this, but more of a Brady Bunch type of boxes all over the place. But we still think that from a substantive nature that it's going to be a really compelling show, and something that I think sports fans and people are hungry for, to see something live with some attached significance, and you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
You've been at ESPN for about 25 years. Mm-hmm. How different has the last month been, and what do you anticipate about how different this draft night, the 3 nights, are going to be in this format?
It's unlike anything I've experienced in my career, tenure at ESPN, obviously, because I think all of us are experiencing something that we haven't experienced in our lifetimes. Other illnesses and viruses haven't reached this type of magnitude and this type of threat in our society and in our culture. So it's completely different from anything that I've experienced from a career standpoint. I think from a television coverage standpoint and doing big events, and I've done the NBA draft for a number of years and doing the NFL draft now for the second year with Game Day. You're used to being able to communicate with your partners non-verbally and do it instantaneously. I'm still going to have the ability to see the feeds from their houses from my position in the studio, but it's going to be a little bit of a delay. So that type of thing will, I guess, require some adjustment, will be different. And when you're used to doing big events, you're used to having your entire team, both on air and off air, with you. That's not going to be the way it is. There will be communication, but it's not going to be that same feel. That said, I think that we've prepared so exhaustively for this, and in conjunction with the NFL, who's done a remarkable job, in my judgment, in terms of setting up different feeds and giving us access to draft picks homes and the teams, and Commissioner Goodell making the picks. All of those things, I think, are going to feel very familiar. And I also believe that people over the last several weeks have become very accustomed to the type of television that you and I are doing right now. There will be some things that might look a little slicker than what you and I are each doing in our house right now in terms of our prepackaged pieces, but some of the discussions are going to be what people have become accustomed to seeing. People discussing a subject and coming from very different places and doing it with various different types of technology.
You talked about preparation. From your preparation for this year's draft, how different do you anticipate this going? I mean, every official from all 32 teams in separate locations.
I think football coaches and football people by nature sort of plan for the worst. What happens if they show us a blitz that we've never seen before? What happens if there's a matchup we thought we could handle that we can't? So they anticipate what they'll do if something bad happens. server crash, whatever it might be, and also they're in a little bit of an unknown territory. I do think, however, that hopefully those concerns are something to prepare for, but hopefully you won't have to deal with very much. I think they've gone to great lengths to try to make sure this is as even a field as possible and also as reliable as possible. So I'm hoping that those concerns are overblown, but I think that is the thing that people are concerned about. I think from the players' standpoint, while they understand, they're rightly disappointed that that moment with the big bear hug on the stage is not going to happen. It'll be a virtual hug instead. And they understand why, and they understand that's not the most important thing that's ever happened, but it's still okay to be disappointed by that because this is a life-changing moment, for many of these players. So I think those are the concerns right now, and just the fact that we haven't, since the draft has become an event, since ESPN televised it and made it an event as opposed to just something more along the lines of maybe what's happening this year, players and people and front office people and coaches aren't used to this. So they're outside their comfort zone a little bit. And I think anytime that you step outside of that, there's a little bit of I don't know if apprehension's the right word, but your antenna are up and you're trying to anticipate anything that could get sideways so you can deal with it if it happens, but hopefully it won't. I know great lengths have been gone to try to make this as smooth a process as possible.
Couple more for you. The Ravens, no better team in the regular season last year. What do you think of this team, what they've done, where they're headed? And look, they have 9 draft picks, and it's a deep draft. So what do you think?
And they're young.
Yeah,
they're already young. I mean, a lot of their superstars are, really young guys still. I think that they are a championship caliber team. Lamar is just going to continue to get better and better as time goes along. And I know that the postseason didn't work out the way they had hoped, but I think they can continue to strengthen their roster and build some depth. And, maybe, and I guess the first thing people look at and you look at their needs might be in defensive front 7. Maybe you can find a couple of guys there who could really help. So I think what they've done has been tremendous. The way they have been able to utilize Lamar's unique set of skills. Obviously he is, he's lightning fast. He's got a tremendous arm. We did a piece on him in College Game Day when he burst onto the scene at Louisville, basically showing off just how far and how hard he could throw a football. It's ridiculous. He's got a tremendous arm, charismatic, great leader, highly competitive, and everybody's falling in line with him.
This year's draft is going to have a charitable element to it, the draft-a-thon. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's just an opportunity, I think, for people right now, while we're all in isolation or quarantine, you want to find a way to reach out. You want to find a way to help as many people as you can. And when you're removed from situations and you're just sort of watching it on television, it's hard to know exactly what you can do that will be beneficial to others. And I think that through this opportunity for everybody to go all in, as we're calling it, and try to contribute and help others and make sure that people who fallen on economic hard times that might need some assistance in making sure that they have enough meals or getting things taken care of that they need, that this will be, hopefully our audience will determine that this is a worthy place that they can give assistance if they're so inclined and if they're able. And hopefully that, in addition to just having the live drama of something associated with the NFL return, hopefully this can also be something that can be a unifying type of situation for people who are watching.
Well, sports fans finally have a live event to watch. Rece Davis going to be on ABC's coverage of the NFL draft on Thursday night and Friday night. Rece, stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks for taking the time.
You do the same. Thanks a lot for having me.